All right, chapter 16 of Wishtree. Oh, as you can see, it was Blue and White Day for our morning meeting, so I was happy to see so many of you there. Chapter 16. When you're a tree, a phrase like cut it down is bound to get your attention. Francesca had hinted at such things before, but always in jest. After a long October afternoon raking my newly shed leaves into crisp hills, or after a particularly messy wishing day, or after stepping on my acorns in bare feet. I felt bad about the walkways. It's an occupational hazard. To stay alive, I need a vast network of roots, and roots can be surprisingly strong. "Did you hear that?" Bongo asked, watching Francesca enter her house. She sounded serious this time. "I've heard it all before," I said. "Unfortunately, the newbies heard her too," Bongo said. Bongo calls every fresh crop of babies newbies. She pretends to be annoyed by their antics, but I know better. "Listen," Bongo urged. Sure enough, I could hear the baby skunks wailing from their hidden nest under the porch. "But we love Red, Mama," one of them cried. "Hush," their mother, fresh baked bread, scolded. "It's the middle of the day. You're supposed to be asleep." Crepuscular creatures like fireflies, bats, and deer are especially active at dawn and dusk. "Will Red be all right, Mama?" another baby, whose voice I recognized as Rose Petal, asked. All skunks name themselves after pleasant scents. I'm not sure if this is because they're a bit defensive about their reputation, or if they just have a sly sense of humor. "Of course," said her mother. "Red is indestructible." Bongo looked at me. "See what I mean?" "Oh dear," I said. "By tonight they'll all have heard. The opossums, the raccoons, the owls. Little Harold will be beside himself." Harold was the smallest barn owl nestling, and a great worrier. Barn owls give themselves sensible, no-fuss names. "I'll talk to everyone," Bongo said. "Calm them down, tell them not to worry." "I'm sure things will be fine," I said. "I've seen a lot in my years. The things I've fretted about have never come to pass. I could write a book." I paused. "In fact, I could be a book." I paused again, because, paper is made from trees. Bongo gave a screechy crow laugh. She didn't even scold me for my lame joke. And that's when I started to worry. Chapter 17. As much as I was concerned about the baby's reaction to Francesca's words, I was more worried about Samar. What would happen when she returned from school and saw the word carved into the tree? Would she think it was meant for her and for her family, as Francesca and the police seemed to assume? She came home. Ahead of her by a few yards was Stephen. A reporter from the neighborhood newspaper was waiting on the sidewalk, interviewing people as they walked by. Word travels fast in our parts, especially when there's yellow police tape involved. Had they seen what had happened? The reporter kept asking. Had they ever made wishes on wishing day? What did they think the word leave meant? The reporter approached Stephen. Did he know why someone would carve leave into the beloved local wish tree? Stephen stared at the reporter. Then he glanced behind at Samar, sending her the shadow of a sad smile. Without answering the reporter, he headed toward his house. Samar's eyes darted from Stephen to the reporter to me. She ran closer, saw the word, and gasped. She reached a hand toward me, but the police tape put me out of reach. "Are you a resident?" the reporter asked. "Would you like to comment on the incident?" Samar didn't say a word. She turned and walked up the sagging steps to the little blue house, her head held high, standing tall, reaching deep. Chapter 18. Around 6 that evening, Sandy and Max returned. When the police knocked on the door of the greenhouse, Stephen's parents opened it and they answered questions. They shook their heads. They shrugged. Then they shut their door and closed the curtains. When the police knocked on the door of the blue house, Samara's parents opened it and answered questions. They rubbed their eyes and they sighed. Then they too shut their door and closed their curtains. As Sandy and Max headed back to their cruiser, Sandy paused beneath me. "I wonder if I should make a wish," she said. "Might be our last chance." "I'll tell you what I wish for," Max said. "I wish I didn't have to investigate things like this." Sandy patted his shoulder. "I wouldn't hold my breath on that one." As for me, I spent the evening hours reassuring the parents and offspring who called me their home. They weren't just worried about where they would have to move, of course. They were worried about me. I was worried about me too. I didn't want to leave the world I loved so much. I wanted to meet next spring's owl nestlings. I wanted to praise the new maple sapling across the street when it blushed red at sunset. I wanted my roots to journey farther, my branches to reach higher. But that is how it is when you love life. And I could accept that if my time had come, it had come. After a life as fine as mine, who was I to complain? I was worried about the babies, though, about their parents scrambling to find new safe places to line their nests, dig their burrows, hide their winter stashes of acorns. Most of all, I was worried about Samar. I don't know why. Perhaps it's because she reminded me so much of another little girl from another time long ago. A little girl I'd managed to shelter successfully, Francesca's great-grandmother. Like I said, we go way back. All right, tomorrow will be chapters 19, 20, and 21. So, see you soon. Bye.